Welcome to another episode of Hair Biz Radio with your host Zakiyrah and
Mikey.
And we are bringing you some amazing information today. One that I think is going to enhance your business, and it's going to allow you to free up some of your time and just get a hold on the ins and outs of your business, marketing, everything. It's going to be great. But before we get into it, we're going to kind of stall you guys for a little bit. But before we get into it, what's been going on, Mikey?
Mikey's been working and twerking, okay?
Twerking, okay.
Checking out Hair Biz Radio has been on absolute fire. Shout out to our friend Shikana.
Yes.
She, her episode just went
crazy.
Just crazy.
Yeah, it went crazy.
You know, we have a couple videos, 1 million+ views. So thank you to everyone that has watched one of the videos.
Yes. Shout out to everyone who is new here, who found us through those Instagram posts that were going viral. We are your hair industry friends, and we serve bountiful amounts of information on the hair industry. So make sure you tune in. You can watch us on YouTube, or you can listen to us on wherever podcasts are. But we provide a lot of information for you. You can listen to it on your car drive. You can listen to it while you have people in your chair at the salon. You can listen to it at home, wherever you are. You can listen to it, and it's very practical information that you can apply.
Absolutely. So the podcast has been going great. And what else are we doing at Private Label? Working on new products, always working on new products, working on heavy on SEO right now. So I'm trying to implement some new SEO techniques, because what I like to do is I like to try out new techniques and then put it in the Hair Business Masterclass. Yeah. So shout out to Hair Business Masterclass students, whoever's watching from the group there. And so some of those things are working out. So really interesting. Yep. And always testing and trying things. But when I do these things, it takes time. So when I'm doing it, I generally have to hire some help. So I think that's a good segue into today's topic.
Yes, we are talking about virtual assistants, the benefits of virtual assistants, how to hire a virtual assistant. What in the heck can your virtual assistant do? So let's dive into the conversation. I think we are in 2024, and I think that over the years, this has developed into something that has literally been sustaining businesses. And I think that it's important to have virtual assistants to be able to do the work that frees you up to actually work on the business versus working inside of the business.
Yeah. So what you need to think about with a virtual assistant is right off the bat, the redundant tasks. Yeah. Get a virtual assistant to handle a lot of these, right? So if you hire somebody and they can handle a lot of the small things in the business to keep it going, that way you can focus more on what's going to drive sales and marketing, even though you can hire virtual assistants for that as well. But if you're just starting out, you have to start somewhere. Right. You might not be able to afford a full-time in-house employee. You might not even have an office. Your business might be virtual. You might be doing drop shipping, just selling online, but you need additional help with writing blog posts. You need different help with reaching out to different people. Yep. Replying to blog post comments, replying to social media comments, posting on social media. Posts.
Yep. Virtual assistants are really great for posting on social media. If you have a virtual graphics person who can create all the graphics for you, or if you're doing videos and you have someone who can edit your videos for you, your virtual assistant can literally take those things and make sure that they're getting posted throughout the week. They can reply to the comments. They can send DMs. They can do a lot of different things. Even like Mikey said, with writing blog posts, they can actually go in, edit the blog posts, upload the blog posts, make sure the blog post pictures for the front, what is that picture called again?
Header?
The header, yes. The header image are sized properly and uploaded properly. They can do all those tasks that would literally take you time to do. They can start to do those tasks. Down to website edits. Like if you need products added to your website, a virtual assistant can do that. If you're putting items on sale and you need them updated in your back end, they can do that. There's a ton of things that virtual assistants can do.
But the key to hiring a virtual assistant is to make sure you train them properly. Yes. And what I do is I will use a program called Camtasia Studio, and I will screen record me doing the process from start to finish. and then I put that in a Google Drive that they can view, and then I start listing out the tasks in a Google Sheets, which is easy to access. That way, if you show them once and they have a question, they can always go back to that video and use it as a reference. The biggest mistake most people make when hiring a virtual assistant is not training them properly.
Yes, that is number one thing that you need to do, because a lot of times, sometimes they're knowledgeable and know how to do the work, but they're not familiar with your systems. They're not familiar with maybe the industry that you're in. So it's definitely important to not just breeze through, not just say, hey, I'm going to hire this virtual assistant and dump all this work on them and expect for them to deliver. I've done that before. I didn't have patience, and I'm like, hey, I need this done, and it wasn't being done properly. And now I'm stuck having to do it myself because I didn't take the time to properly train someone. So that's definitely something that you can avoid up front. If you just, like Mikey said, if you don't have access to Camtasia, there are websites like Loom. You can do a Loom video, Loom, where you can show them, walk them through the process. And you want to make sure that it's very detailed, almost so detailed that any questions they have can be answered in the video. So you want to make sure that that is the number one thing. Before you even hire a virtual assistant, you should have these videos already in a file or a Google Drive where all you have to do is pick the video and send it to them. But you want to make sure you have all your processes and systems in place before you actually hire someone. I think that goes without saying. Also, if you're hiring an employee or just anyone, like anything can happen, you want to make sure that you have the systems set in place to know how to actually run the back end of your business.
And when hiring a virtual assistant, you're generally going to come from two categories. You're going to have one that is going to do more of the busy work that's very easy for you to do, that takes those tasks off your plate, which will allow you to drive more business. Or you're going to hire a virtual assistant that's more of an expert that knows more than you. Maybe they are experts at Facebook ads and Facebook marketing, and you're going to hire that person. Make sure that you follow what they're doing and you learn from them as far as the systems they're using and putting in place for whatever part of the business they're managing. So that way you can get the best of both worlds. Now, those people are generally going to be a lot more expensive because they're specialists relative to somebody that is just doing more of the busy work. But really having a flow and understanding of what's going on is going to be key for your success with a virtual assistant.
Yeah, I think another thing that virtual assistants work great for is keeping up with your email marketing. I know that sometimes that can be a daunting task. And if you get the right virtual assistant, like Mikey said, an expert or specialist who specializes in email marketing, that can be a task off of your plate as well. Let's get into costs for virtual assistants. Now, you can hire virtual assistants from anywhere around the world. And I've seen virtual assistants start at as low as $4 an hour. But again, and of course, you're going to get whatever you pay is going to be the quality of what you get, or that much more work that you have to do, is from my experience. Oh, were you about to say something?
Yeah, I mean, it really depends. So the key is, if they're doing real simple, just easy tasks, you might pay as low as $4 an hour. And then it kind of starts going up from there based on their expertise, how much you're hiring them for. If it's an ongoing project opposed to something that's short term, expect to pay a little bit more if it's something short term.
Absolutely.
And then if it's ongoing, they're probably going to make it a little bit cheaper. But a lot of times you're going to pay not as much if you're hiring outside of the U.S.
Yeah.
But, you know, getting into stuff that is what you said, email marketing, I would highly, highly recommend having them set up everything in draft and then you go in and review.
Yeah.
Don't just hire a virtual assistant and let them run wild on your system.
Absolutely not.
Because they need to make sure that they have the right brand voice, the right brand look, the verbiage, everything is correct. Because depending on what country you're from, even if they're fluent in English, they can do things a little differently. And I've experienced this as well.
Me too, yeah.
Of way you do stuff. I even have one of my virtual assistants was putting the $ at the end of the number. And that's because that's how they do it in their country. Where I said, hey, not a big deal, but just make sure you put it in the front. That's how we do it in the U.S. And we basically have all U.S. visitors and people that are reading these blog posts or videos or anything else we're doing.
Yeah, I think also in addition to having the videos, you want to also make sure there's some sort of parameters or expectations, especially when it comes to writing, because you don't want plagiarism to be a thing. You don't want people to copy and paste and create these blog posts that they've taken from all these other areas. Ask me how I know. But you want to make sure that you go through and actually check, like Mikey was saying, and then also up front let them know, hey, I do not want any copy paste from anywhere. I need these to be created from scratch, basically, the blog posts, or at least changed around to where it's not coming up as someone else's material. Like Mikey was saying, the pricing definitely fluctuates. I've seen, like we said, as low as $4. I've worked with people $10 an hour, $15 an hour, experts. You can get into like $50 to $100 an hour, ongoing projects, all of those things. Places, where can we find these people?
There's actually a lot of different places.
Yeah, there is.
So some of the most popular are, if you want to hire someone specifically from the Philippines, onlinejobs.ph.
Yep, that's a good one.
Freelancer.com has always been around and popular.
Fiverr.
Is popular, but my personal favorite is Upwork.
Yes.
Upwork, you're going to get a more professional virtual assistant, and I've just had my best experience from finding people on Upwork.
Yeah, and there's another one called Zirtual.com. There's a ton. If you just do your research, Google's your best friend, or utilize any of the platforms that we've given you, you can definitely find. Now, you may have to sift through. You want to go through, look at the reviews. You want to see what their expertise or what they specialize in. And then I do interviews. Like, I will get on and interview them. You want to make sure that you have a conversation with them. You're not just hiring them to do stuff, because sometimes, not a lot of times, they may say that they specialize or can do certain things, but then they have no idea what's going on once you hire them. Okay.
I think that's everybody's resume in the U.S.
Yeah, I guess that's true too. So you want to just make sure that you're able to have a conversation with them or explain heavily what you're looking for, and make sure that they can accommodate those things.
What I generally do in Upwork is, if it's for a simple task or something small, I say, hey, I am going to send this task to multiple people, and I'm going to analyze who does the best work. So if you're interested in this job, if you want to do XYZ task, it could be converting this video into a blog post. And I look at the writing style. I can put it in Grammarly. I have Grammarly Pro. It's going to let me know about plagiarism, about the actual grammar of the article. There, you can run tests with people. I'm doing one right now for some AI photo stuff. And I say, hey, send me some examples. Some of them are just way off. I mean, this is a hot mess, okay? But some of them are actually like, wow, this is really impressive.
So are you hiring them to do that? Or are you?
No, so I'm just saying, if you really want this job,
right,
and you think you're really that good, prove it.
Okay.
Now, it's not going to be a task that's going to take hours.
Right, exactly.
It's generally something quick, so I can get a better feel of what they're doing.
Yeah. That's actually really great. That's a great tip that I would recommend utilizing.
And another thing is, a lot of these sites have reviews. Be careful and read through the reviews. You can tell when someone is done, maybe like a friend hired them and they just do something, it's like $5 and they get 5 stars. So they have a bunch of these 5-star reviews, but they haven't really earned a lot of money. So what they're trying to do is game the system, which I don't blame them one bit, because the social proof of reviews is so important.
Right.
If I was a freelancer, that's 100% what I would do. But that's not going to, I'm careful of the reviews I see. I see people that have done long-term contracts, have earned a lot of money with different businesses, and then now they're just available because probably something in the business has changed or they've completely finished the product.
Yeah. And you can always tell with the reviews, like when people go into detail about the type of project or what their experience was working with them, or just specific details kind of in the review, look out for those too, because you're right. Even whether it's hiring a virtual assistant or not, when I look at reviews, I look to see, is there a story behind this, or was it just like, love them, great product, we'll order again.
Yeah, because there's services. You can hire a virtual assistant to leave fake reviews for you.
Yeah, definitely.
A lot of those are common on Facebook. And a way you know is you just scroll over. You don't click on it. You put the mouse over their profile, and it says how many friends they have. They'll have 2 friends, 5 friends, 10 friends, this friend, that friend. Like, it's never a normal person that has 1,000 friends.
Right.
And there's just 5-star review. Oh, this, that, the other, da, da, da. And it's all fluff. Eventually, the social media platforms needed to do another purge. I don't know if you remember the purge of 2018 or 19.
Yep. And people lost so many followers. There were people who had like thousands of followers and went down to like 20, 30, like,
20 or 30 followers or 1,000?
1,000.
Okay. All right. Yeah. So they need to do that. I don't think the social media platforms are going to do a purge anytime soon because people are just so enamored by a huge following and they want to keep people engaged, and that might make them less engaged. So not much we can do about that.
Absolutely not. But one thing we can control is the information that we give you about these virtual assistants that you should definitely get on your team. It's very helpful. I think that it would, for those people who are a team of one, especially when you find yourself kind of getting lost in the business or the sauce, or like working so much on the everyday tasks that you can't go out and do revenue generating activities, virtual assistants are going to be your best friend for sure.
Yeah, and just start thinking of things that you're doing redundantly or things that you're missing out. If you take notes of all this, that can really help, so that way you get organized. So you can organize your virtual assistants in a Google Sheet. Right now I'm using a program, Monday.com. So Monday, it's something that makes it real easy to manage the whole workflow with the assistants. I actually am setting up one now for the podcast and all the different tasks that are going to happen. And it's going to be about 50 or 60 things for every episode that needs to happen. It's wild, but you want to break each task down as detailed, specific as possible, so that, and then what I like about Monday.com is you can actually select who is doing what. Yeah. And you set the expectations, and they can check off that it's been done. So for me, I'll be able to log in and make sure, okay, the new episode's coming out. All this stuff needs to happen. It needs to either be scheduled or be going out. Yeah. I can log in and make sure everything's getting done. If it's not, I can reach out to whoever is in charge of that specific task. Hey, what's going on? Yep.
And then finding good people that you can grow with, because once you find a great virtual assistant, being able to utilize them for years and years, you start to build that trust, and you have someone on your team that if you did need to outsource and hire another virtual assistant, that virtual assistant can be over the new virtual assistant. So it's like creating a relationship between the people and not just making it transactional.
Yeah, we've been working with certain people for years now. Mm-hmm. It's been great. We've had some bad experiences with virtual assistants, so really embrace the good ones and make sure you double down. It's really, a lot of it is training.
Definitely. And they don't always have to be overseas virtual assistants. There are virtual assistants within the U.S. that you can hire as well.
Yeah, we hire most of our writers in the U.S. Yeah. Because we want more naturally written words. Yeah. No AI. We make sure, that's my titles. No AI written articles, blah, 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 because that Google's just not going to rank it. So it's really important that you're getting more natural written articles. I'm actually going through Private Label's old blog posts and updating them from, we published 1,000 blog posts in 2018. Yeah. And I'm like, wow, this is actually really good content because it's all naturally written. In today's world, everything is written with AI, which you can usually tell. Yeah. So I'm just going through and updating those from an SEO perspective.
Over like 30 writers.
We had 30 writers,
US
all virtual.
Writers.
But they were virtual.
Yeah, they were all virtual.
Virtual 30 writers. We had Megs as the editor. Yep. We had Fenella as the uploader. All someone did all day was publish blog posts. Yep. And Megs would edit everything, double check everything. Wow, we had a powerhouse. We wrote about everything possible for hair in 1 year.
Definitely.
That was wild.
Yeah, it was wild. All virtual too. Yeah, so make sure you look into getting a virtual assistant for your business. I think that it would definitely 10x your availability to go out and build the business.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, so hopefully this episode was great and very informative for you. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe.
Maybe even leave a review.
Leave us a review.
Please.
Dang it.
Here's the thing. If you made it this far at the episode and you leave a review, screenshot it, send it to me on Instagram at Moran Mikey. That's MORAN Mikey, Mikey. I'll have a link to my Instagram in the show notes, and I'll send you something special. How about that?
Oh, how about that?
Yeah.
Catch me outside.
How about that?
All right.
We're out of here. Bye, guys.